Hey, what's up, y'all? This your girl, Lady V. Here it is on a Friday, TGIF, April 2nd, 2021. We are damn near halfway through the damn year. It just began. So much has happened, and so much more is to happen. For our highest good, things that are coming in will be for us to grow spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Well, I am out and about today, enjoying this beautiful weather here in Santa Barbara, California, where I am doing my nursing assignment. So it is beautiful here today. I mean, it's always beautiful, but I don't really get out to really enjoy it. But today something told me to go out in nature and just take in some fresh air, get some sun, be around the greenery. It's really pretty out here. First I was going to go by the ocean, but I decided against it. So here I am. So as promised, I am ready to do the introductory part of Storytime, my spiritual journey. So anyway, please forgive me. I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable. I get passionate sometimes. I feel like at this moment we are in a process of healing, okay? I do strongly believe in healing thyself. Healthy is heal thy, okay? Heal thy. You add the self on there and it's self-explanatory. We need to heal ourselves. We need to go deep within, pull out all that gunk that was our beginning, that someone else told the narrative to our life, and take back that power that was taken away from us at vulnerable times where we didn't know what to do, how to be. The people that was in charge of us didn't know how to do and how to be, and stand in our power today and heal that childhood wound. So I want to go ahead and start off with myself, the administrator of the group. I want to give you an introduction of how I became into my spiritual journey. I decided that I would like to keep the videos between 15 and 30 minutes long and do consequent videos to follow up with the previous one, like part 1, part 2, part 3, so forth and so on. So how I started my spiritual journey was very it's something that I had been working on my whole existence. Spirit, when I was believing in Christianity, spirit, guided me to a lot of information. I didn't know how to process it because I was thinking from an egotistical standpoint, not really from spiritual standpoint. For some reason, it was very frightening, at the same time exciting to fully give in to spirit, and I really didn't know what that meant. Like when you go to church, they tell you give in to spirit and yada yada. And so you don't really know much about your spiritual being until you have this spiritual awakening. So before I was getting the awakening signs, shut it down. I allowed toxic people, places, and things back into my life, got into behaviors and habits and attitudes and this, that, and the other. Anything that kept me at a low vibration. You're not able to ascend when you're in lower vibrations. You have to be able to let go of old self so you can step into new self. And to be able to do that, you have to go within and heal the wounds. It doesn't matter if it happened to you when you were a baby, when you were a toddler, when you was in school age. It doesn't matter. However far back you can remember of your past, whether it's past life or this life, you have to heal that situation to be able to move forward. And a lot of it wasn't our fault. A lot of it, we were just born into the situation, the circumstance. And it's all to learn a lesson. It was even for those involved to learn a lesson. Unfortunately, because people don't come into this realization, or they don't give in to their spiritual selves, they continue to have to repeat things over and over and over again. Or they leave this earth not feeling fulfilled, not being where they should have been essentially, and then having to come back and repeat themselves. So I don't want to come back and repeat myself. So I want to get it right this time, okay? So when I finally got my spiritual awakening, it happened during a time that was very traumatic, where I experienced a lot of betrayal from my daughter's dad. This happened probably like in 2015, 2016. My daughter, for one, she is a crystal child. She came into my life. She used to say this a lot when she was little. She's now 11 years old. But when she was little, like 3 or 4, she started to remember her past. And she really got me on this whole journey by explaining to me why she used to always make a big deal about the moon. When those full moons be huge as fuck, okay? And when I was growing up, I don't remember no moon being as big and as orange and reddish and all that stuff that it has been these past few decades. But when the moon used to be really full, she would make a big deal about it. And I noticed slightly that her attitude would change. She would be doing wild shit. And it got me to thinking about the lunar, okay? Because moon means lunar in Latin. So the term lunatic means that people act crazy when the moon comes out. So she used to do little stuff like howl and stuff, little cute little howling voice or whatnot. And I asked her one day, I said, why do you make a big deal about the moon, little mama, And she was like, because that's where I come from. Now, she was like 4 years old, okay, when she said this. And so around that time, I started watching this show called Ghost Inside My Child that used to come on Lifetime. And it used to talk about children who be around the same age my daughter was, 3, 4, 5 years old, and they remember their past life. They remember being here before. They was able to talk about those things that happened in those times. They was able to point out pictures and tell you what was going on those pictures. And these pictures are like back in the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. So, and of course, there was more recent ones. There was a little boy that reincarnated, and he was able to lead the authorities to where his killer buried him at when he was like 6 years old. He got hit in the head with a shovel, and it solved the case. It was like some area in India. But whenever you get a chance, check that show out, because that's what opened my eyes. Because remember, I was still under the Christian faith influence, and I always knew that there was more to life than what was presented to us. And I always was on the journey, just looking and searching for truth. I was not happy in the church. I did not like what I saw. I did not feel like it was the truth. And so I got to seeking. And so when she got to telling me about that, the first light bulb went off, like, ding, okay, now we're talking about reincarnation, which Christianity, especially Jehovah's Witnesses, didn't believe that there was a such thing. And so they used to speak highly against like divination. Everything was a demon. Everything was witchcraft to them. And it just didn't make sense. It was ridiculous to me, because I'm like, there's people who are born with spiritual gifts. They're able to see. They have the clairvoyancies and the clairaudience and the clairsentience and all of that stuff, God-givenly, okay? It's not their fault. It's not something that they just said, I want to do this and it happened. A lot of people are born with these spiritual gifts and have to suppress them because of what society has said was evil about it. And there's nothing evil about any of these things, especially if it's given to you upon birth and you learn them at a young age, just naturally. You know what I'm saying? That is your birthright to have those spiritual gifts, okay? So anyway, so my daughter used to say little stuff that just would have me in my head thinking like, what the hell is she talking about? Or it just, it was spooking me out at first, because, it's fun and entertaining to watch the Ghost Inside My Child on TV, but to actually have a potential child that happened to belong to me that was speaking like these children in this show, I was like, I need to pay attention. I need to listen. So she told me about the moon, and that's where she came from. And she was, just saying little stuff about things that happened in my life that she was not even born. She was not even alive to even know about. And so she told me these things, and then I'm like all freaked out or whatnot. And so she got to talking about her old mother and how her old mother had killed her. Stabbed her right in the stomach with a big knife. She said she kept praying for death, asking for death, because the way her mother was treating her. They would starve her. The mother would starve her. She had 2 other siblings. Excuse me. And they would starve her. And so every time she would sneak to try to go get her and her siblings some food, she would get punished because she was the eldest. And so, funny thing was, one of the first words that my daughter learned when she was a baby was eat. because I was trying to teach her eat, and she would not say it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to indicate, hey, is it time to eat? You ready to eat? Whatever. Because my baby was very picky with food when she was younger. So I'm thinking she's just being a little girl, a little feminine or whatever. So I didn't really know what she wanted to eat. And I will always pretty much give her just bottles of milk, of cow milk or whatever. So one day, she didn't act like she was enthused about eating. And I was told that, back then, even though she was my 5th child, that, but my only girl, that, kids, they will learn when they're hungry, they'll eat. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you try to feed a child, they push it away, or they don't want to eat, they don't want to sit down, they too active, whatever. And that's how she used to be. So one day, she just yelled out, eat. You know what I'm saying? And my baby loves to eat, okay? So it made sense after she told me that story. So this happened before she was able to converse with me and talk about the word eat. And then as she got to remembering her past, she then explained to me that that's why she ended up dying. So she used to wake up in the middle of the night talking about, I hate my old mommy, I want her to die, and this and that and that and that. So it was just an experience. My baby put me on this journey. She got the cobwebs to be removed from my head, and a light started to spark. Like, there's got to be more to what we've been taught with Christianity. So I started to Google. Google became my best friend, and I learned about the moon first, because I learned about the moon phases. I wasn't very sure about the new moon, but once I started looking up the full moon, then of course it gradually talked about the new moon and all the other cycles of the moon. So I started to follow the cycles of the moon. It happened that year that my birthday was going to be Sunday, June the 5th, which was the same day 40 something years ago that I was born, and I was born under the same moon. It's the same moon phase. So I was like, oh my God, this is a pivotal moment. This is something that is very special, because I'm now starting to tap into my spiritual awakening. And so I started to do a lot of research, and then it led me to this, and it led me to that, and it just kept giving me those breadcrumbs, and I kept picking it up, chewing them, like, yes, feed me, give me more. So before all of that came to be, the heartbreak and the heartache of what my daughter's dad did to me was what triggered it, was what got me on the journey. Because like I said, this is going to be a vulnerable moment. I'm going to talk about things, I'm going to say stuff, you know what I'm saying? But either way, it's going to be 100% authentic, 100% true and real. So I just want to be able to be transparent at this moment in time, because I am healing and still healing. I've healed a lot since 2015, 2016, but I'm still healing and still have ways to go. And so I've learned so much on this journey. I could call myself not a beginner, but maybe an intermediate, because I'm not a master yet. I don't claim that title yet. But I'm almost there, because this has been a journey that I have enjoyed. Like, self-discovery, soul searching, all of that stuff, digging deep within is the best thing that you could do for your soul at this moment in time. And I really appreciate all the knowledge and wisdom that I have learned. I'm not saying I want to go through anything else to have to go through this again, but that I went through it, I am very grateful. It was hurtful, it was painful, all of that stuff. It just triggered something in me that made me feel like something has to change. Something within me has to change. See, it's easy to blame others. It's easy to say it's somebody else's fault when we get hurt, when somebody just does something that we don't like. It's easy to put it off and say, you did this, you did that. I didn't do this. But obviously you had a accountability that you must take. Because if if it wasn't meant to happen, it wouldn't have happened. And if it continues to happen over and over with different players and different characters in the mix on different sides of the globe, but the same situation happens, then that is repetitive. And when that's repetitive, then that means you're carrying some type of energy within you from place to place, to person, that has to be healed, because the same outcome happens all the time. So, I used to get asked, do you love yourself, and blah blah blah. And of course, when you hear that you hear that question, you're like, yeah, I love myself, of course I do. I don't want to harm myself, I don't want nothing bad to happen to me. Yes, I love myself. But I didn't know the true meaning of love yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because I obviously did not love myself, because I had no boundaries. I didn't have pretty much no backbone, because I'm a mild and meek person. That's what I present to the world, because that's who I am and that's who I've always been. But that saying, people take your kindness for weakness, and so they walk all over you and treat you bad and take advantage and lie and manipulate. The deception, all of those low vibrational ass things that keep you being a victim and being victimized over and over by people you draw soul ties with, people that you care about and love and want to build with. But you keep getting that toxic return, because not only are you hurting, but you're also attracting other hurt people who got, and it's called trauma bonding. They have the same issue somewhere in there that you have. Not feeling loved, not feeling appreciated. Nobody cared. Nobody defended them. Nobody protected them. They struggled. They felt neglected. Somebody hurt their feelings. The same shit that almost everybody has experienced while carnating onto this planet. You're going to feel heartache. You're going to feel pain. That's the part of the life lessons that you came here to learn on this hell earth, this hell planet. But you don't know that, because you're not supposed to know. You're supposed to be like a piece to the puzzle. Each and every time you get pieces to the right thing, you ascend higher and you're almost completed with your mission. So that's what we all came to do. And the people that you ran into, you already made a contract with them before carnating into this fleshly body to interact with them, and for them to do whatever they did to trigger you, to hurt you, to cause you pain, so that you could make the change necessary for your soul's ascension. But most of the time, what we do is not only blame, but we take that anger, we take that frustration, we take the disappointment, and we internalize it. And then when we internalize it, not only have we put a wall up, but then we start to spewing that shit like vomit to other people, and it just be like, tag, you're it, so you get to pass all this shit all around, and now you're a big toxic fireball. You know what I'm saying? That's where the healing has to take place. That's where the getting to know thyself and go deep within and soul search has to take place, so that you can deprogram what you've been taught, what you've been told, how you've been made to feel, and reprogram who you really are, who you know your soul to be. If you know that you wouldn't cause harm to anybody, if you know that you're not a real trifling, conniving ass person, you know what I'm saying, then that's who you want to present in your healing process. You don't want to keep wearing the different masks, showing people different sides of you that ain't even really you. I mean, they're you, but they're not who you really want to be. You have presented these things as a defense mechanism of some sort to really hide who you really are, because we're taught in this lifetime, in this society, that showing any type of vulnerability is a sign of weakness. And it's a damn lie. Okay, I finally know what my soul's purpose is. I always knew that I had a purpose here. I did not know what it was, and people damn sure tried to keep me from figuring it out by loading me down with all negativity. I've been told that I ain't shit, that I'm not pretty, that I'm ugly. They used to call me fat back in the day, like they was chanting a spell on me, and sure enough, I got to almost 400 fucking pounds. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people had the evil eye against me. People tried to take my man. I always was cheated on. I was told that I was not going to be loved, that I'm, you know what I'm saying, that nobody wants me. I'm stupid, I'm dumb. Anything that would suppress one's soul. And then the tricky part is convincing you to believe what they feel about you. So now you internalize what they're spewing out as negativity, and you're absorbing it and saying, yes, I must be, or they must be right, or I guess it's true, or whatever you have thought or said to convince that the bullshit that they've lied and programmed you to thinking is actually what the fuck it is. How can anybody tell you about you when you lived you all your motherfucking life? Can't nobody tell you about you. Opinions, matter of facts, observations, whatever the case may be. Can't nobody outside of you express anything about you, because you're the one that walks in this body, walks in these shoes, and sees behind these eyeballs. Can't nobody else tell you who you are when you step into the power of knowing thyself, because you have healed the traumatic past. You have healed the things that people have put in your ear and embedded in your brain, and it intertwined into your DNA and made you feel that this is the person that you are. No. So remember, like attracts like. So if you had a lot of negativity spewed on you, most likely you're going to absorb that shit and you're going to be spewing it out on other people. We need to change that. We need to change the dramas of our past. We need to go within and forgive ourselves. We can also forgive those who have trespassed against us. They don't have to know that you forgave them. They don't even have to be aware that anything about it, because 9 times out of 10 people do what they do at the moment and they move the fuck on. They don't sit back and think, oh, back in 10 years ago, I remember I hurt this girl or did this to this boy. Unless they see an evident karma and the spirit allows them to remember the nostalgic moment that caused heartache and pain to somebody, they usually don't think like that. But they are experiencing their karma for whatever the fuck they did to however many people they did it to. They're getting theirs, because what you put out there, you get back. Like attracts like. So what had to happen was I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive, the circumstance between me and my baby daddy. Quiet, real quick and plain. He betrayed me. He fucked the bitch on my couch. Lied to my face, lied on me, told me it was my fault, basically telling me you knew we weren't together. He wanted the girlfriend benefits without putting a title on us. And the only reason why it hurted so much is because my daughter, her little self, was trying to be a little mastermind and get her mama and daddy to be together. What child don't want their dad and their parents to be together? So she thought that there was things that I could do to make her dad want to be with me. And it point blank was that her dad was a hoe. He didn't want to give up his hoish ways. He liked threesomes, and that's the type of female he wanted to do. He was always working off of his lower chakras, his imbalances of his sacral and his root chakra. And that's what keeps a lot of people where they are stagnant in their relationships and not having any growth, because they have not healed past the belly button. Everything that they think about is in the lower region of their body, because they were molested, because they were raped, because they was over sexualized, because they was addicted to porn, or it was always some hot dick ass nigga, or some little hot ass, fast ass tail girl, or whatever the case. But people are taught these things. We don't just automatically just pop out and be like, ooh, I want to watch for hours somebody sucking on a dick and you're only 5 or 6 years old. You have to have these things introduced to you for them to become habit, because you have started the programming process of your mind. You're going to always remember it. You know what I'm saying? And whatever emotions is attached to your memory through your sight and your feelings and shit, that's the part that that's the imbalance. Whether it's, you liked it and you shouldn't like it and you feel guilty about it, or, you hated it and now you're punishing everyone who tries to come into your life because of these things. Whatever the case, is an imbalance. And so now you have to balance yourself out. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, so I'm trying to keep this under 30 minutes, and then I'll probably do a part 2 another day, because I can only give you so much at one time. Spirit made me think about this. It has made me think about starting a platform to get people to start healing. You know what I'm saying? Because we can only take accountability for ourselves, what part we played in it. Yes, somebody else might have started it off in our life, but we soon then became the controller of our avatar and our mindset. And we as individuals allowed things or caused things to happen because it was programmed in us to do. So now we are in the age of Aquarius, where it's time for us to get out of the masculine energy of destruction and overpowering and all this other stuff that masculine energy does, overdo shit, you know what I'm saying? And get back to the subtle things of life of divine feminine energy to balance the shit out with nurturing and caring and loving and understanding. And as long as us as women, as you can see, a lot of women, if you ain't been paying attention, a lot of women have been awakening within these past 5-6 years, probably around the time that I started my journey. And it's a lot of women. You don't see too many men, not saying that there ain't no masculines out there, but they probably harboring in their feminine energy in spiritual ascension and awakening and growth. So that is the key word. We as feminine, and I say preferably melanated feminines, have to unite together in this loving energy by healing ourselves first. Because once we heal thyself, then we give off that loving energy that comes to us. We attract the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. That's what you're supposed to do, because the earth is purging right now. That's what 2020 was all about. Purging, okay? And bringing the energies of femininity back onto the earth. This is what the men want, because as you can see, these men are getting ridiculous, and it's because there is an imbalance of the energies that need to be back. And it only can happen through feminines. It only can happen with the unison and the unite of women all around the world to help bring up these frequencies to where the killing will stop, all the cheating and infidelity will stop. These men have been begging for this, okay? They even get into the point where they're getting disrespectful by trying to placate black women as some ratchet hood rat ghetto female, thinking that they can be better women than we can. It's an imbalance, y'all, and it has to be balanced out through the healing of thyself and union in love. And I know that your story is probably the same as mine, growing up and women being in competition with you and being jealous of you and not wanting to see you happy and not wanting to see you with a certain guy. And I had bitches in my day that knew there was dudes that liked me, that was really feeling me, and they will always sabotage something. They would go and tell them a lie, or be flirting with them in front of me. It was just always some bullshit, and that shit needs to stop, because we all need love. We all have a partner on this earth. We did not come here to be alone. Excuse me, y'all. I got indigestion. But because of the feelings of being unworthy and feeling like we don't deserve love, or we haven't been treated love, or being in chaotic, toxic situations in families, there is a battle between the two. We have enough people on this earth, even though they're saying that like it's 20 women to one man. We still have enough people on the earth to be in a couple, to have marriage and be together. And as long as there is an imbalance in these masculine and feminine energies, we're going to keep having children out of wedlock. There's still going to be babies being born to their fathers not being there and showing them what the masculine energy is supposed to have and look like and feel like, and the female too. And it's just going to keep on with the generational curses. We need to stop the generational curses, y'all. It has to end. Alcoholism, sex addictions, drug addictions, all of that is embedded in our DNA, and we have to cleanse that shit out by going into our spiritual selves and allowing the universe, the spirit, the stars, the guardian angels to help us by giving us the clues, helping us dig deep within and do the right thing. Because remember, work without faith is dead. It's time for us to awaken and get this thing going so we can change the way this world is going right now. And I know this sounds crazy and far-fetched, and people can't even fathom it being this way, but you're seeing what's unraveling right before your eyes. And during all of this shit, people are feeling hate and feeling anger, and it's causing more negative energy, therefore causing more masculine energies. And then we getting our black men getting killed to where the black women will not feel protected. That's where the self-love has to come in so we can change the frequency of the earth. Okay, I'm done. I've done enough. I will give you part 2. Maybe not today, but another day. And I'll talk to you soon. Stay blessed. If you have any questions about what I've talked about so far, go ahead and comment below, and we will do a continuation next time. Peace.